Hi everyone, welcome back to the Business for Builders podcast, and welcome to you if you're watching this on YouTube. G'day. As usual, we want to really give as much information as we can away to you guys and gals running GC businesses. And if you're builders and you're wanting to build a bigger business, then we want to provide some value here for you. Look, I wanted to quickly chat with you about brand awareness. It's really funny how that when I talk to some guys about their business, and one of the questions is, how do you go about advertising? What do you currently do? Probably the most common thing is, Max, I've got business cards. And I'm like, well, that's cute, but it's probably not enough. And yet then the next question, so we go through the whole list of advertising things, and what do they do? Do they do, brochures, or do they, do anything in the newspaper and whatnot? And the one thing that I don't hear very often is that, oh yeah, Max, my truck is fully wrapped. Matter of fact, in 3 years of selling franchises, I don't think I've had a guy who's said to me, oh yeah, I've spent $4,000 on getting my truck wrapped. And it blows me away, because it's when we're talking about, on one hand, we're saying that we want to build a business, and then on the other hand, we've got a mobile billboard that we refuse, or that we don't know that we should take advantage of. So, to give you an idea, when we onboard a new general contractor and a franchise, and straight out of the Smith & Sons franchise launch playbook, the very first thing we do is we schedule their vehicle for a full truck wrap. Now, it's a commercial wrap, so it's not like we're wrapping Lamborghinis now and it's got to go into the door jambs and all this sort of thing. It'll wrap around half an inch into the door and that's it. But one of the first, we don't let our guys go. If they are within a driving distance to our head office here, we will get the wrap done locally. If they drive their truck up for training, we will get it wrapped. And so, and their logic behind this is, and I drink beer with a few guys in this town, and they're like, well, Max, people drive behind me and they're ringing me up or giving me a hard time because of the way I drive. And I'm like, yeah, so what's your point? If you drive like a lunatic and piss somebody off, you're a target because you've got accessibility there. But for more often than not, when you're talking about branding, and so this is what we do. We don't just do wraps and that's it. I think uniforms are important. Uniforms are a sign of purpose. You think about all your military forces and all of your, armed forces and things like that, or law enforcement, fireys, all those sorts of guys. They've all got uniforms because it actually speaks that we have purpose. We are a team. And so, if your guys aren't cruising around in your T-shirts and caps and things like that, then it's a wasted opportunity. Because when we talked about recruiting good talent, that you want the employees that you bring onto your team to feel like they're a part of something, part of the bigger picture, part of the team. So going back to vehicle wraps, I just don't understand when you want to be the general contractor that's known in your city or your town or whereabouts you are, and you don't put wrap on your vehicle because you're afraid someone's going to ring you up and give you a hard time, you're a loser. You're losing. It doesn't make sense. On one hand, you're fighting yourself. You're saying, "Oh, Max, I want to be the here's what we want to do. What we're going to be is the largest renovation brand in North America." And the way that we're going to do that is we do that city by city by city, right? And it's all because we do it one individual at a time, one vehicle at a time. And slowly but surely, we will have vehicles running all over the place. Now, currently, I think we've got, in 4 towns, we've got something like 9 vehicles with Smith & Sons decals. And more often than not, at least twice or 3 times a month, someone will say, yeah, I saw your vehicle across the road from our place, and we're looking at getting a bathroom or an addition done or whatever. And so you really, once you pay that, let's call it $4,000 to get your vehicle wrapped. Once you've done that once, you never have to do that again. It's all about what can you spend once and then just get ROI in perpetuity. So you invest in it once. It also protects your Duco or your paint job on your truck anyway. So that makes good sense. And so it really does make sense for you to be able to sort of start marketing. I remember when I used to drive my truck around, and it was like, we got a city that's 45 minutes south of us here, and I was back in head office, here, and someone rang and said, yeah, I see your trucks all the time. And at that stage, there was only one truck in Canada that had my decals on it. I just happened to be driving past the right person at the right time. And that's the thing, you never know. So really, if you look at it this way, and you're able to sell one job just off of the truck, it would basically pay it. It'd pay for it. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you do that? Well, it's because I just don't want to get harassed driving down the road. You know what? I don't want to say it, but sort of bad publicity is kind of good publicity. But I think you always hear the negative. So someone's going to ring you and say, yeah, you cut me off. And, that's the worst. That's all it comes of that. But the upside, which you don't know about, is where people see your vehicle getting around town, and then they see maybe your Facebook ads or your Instagram ads, or they go, yeah, I'm thinking about getting a renovation done, and that general contractor had a pretty smart looking truck, and hopefully you've got a fairly simple name like Smith & Sons, and they can remember that. So when they get home, they can Google that and they can find you. And so, I've had guys say to me, Max, is that all I have to do? And I'd say, well, no, not really. I think there's a lot of things. So in this town, we've got a couple of 16-foot long logos on the ice rink here. We do a lot of community stuff. So wherever you can get the brand out there, it's like if I said to you, give me the top 3 businesses that you think of that when I say the word hamburger. Well, you're going to rattle off probably, McDonald's if you're in Canada, A&W, and whoever else, maybe Wendy's, whoever dishes up your best hamburger in your opinion. And that's what we want. When you're the guy in town who looks the most professional, and you go there you go to a meeting with a wrapped vehicle, you've got your notepad and you've got your camera and you've got a uniform on, and you've got a really good, tidy sales process, or at least an initial meeting process that you step through, and it's you're not being arrogant or cocky, but you're definitely talking with a level of confidence because you're an authority in the game. What you'll find is not only will you have the ability to win more jobs, but you'll actually have the ability to win more jobs at a higher profit. And of course, we all need a bit of extra bank so we can scale up business, and we've talked about that before. And the reason that I would urge you just to wrap up, no pun intended, to wrap your trucks, is that bigger is perceived better by clients or homeowners because they're our target market. And so if you roll up in a wrapped truck and uniforms and your sales process is down, and maybe you've got good point of sale brochures that you can give out, some trifold brochures or what have you, your level, and you've got a good website because they're gonna leave the meeting with you, possibly jump back online. Hopefully there you've got some video testimonials as well from previous clients. I think we've covered that in another video. Then what you're trying to do is create the perception that not necessarily that you're bigger, but the perception that you want to transmit is that, or you want your clients to receive, is that you can be trusted. You are the general contractor that they should hire simply because of your approach. Now, I hope you can price well, and I hope you can project manage well, and I hope you can deal with some issues along the way if you need to do that. But, I really want to go back to where we started, and is wrapping vehicles. It would be silly for you not to have that. We as a franchise brand with almost 100 franchises in 3 countries, it's one of the first things that we do. We automatically, first round of uniforms, business cards, point of sale brochures, and a wrapped motor vehicle, a truck. So look, if you know someone who needs to hear that information, maybe there's a spouse that needs to hear that information. That's interesting. Because the wife's going, no, you don't need that. Or maybe you don't want to do it and the wife's on your back about doing it, or vice versa, then maybe you should have a listen. But if you know someone who needs to hear that message, then share this, like and comment. If you've got any questions about anything that we do, feel free to email me at max@businessforbuilders.ca. Hit the subscribe button, notifications bell, all that sort of jazz. And we will see you on the next episode. Talk soon.